All right, I'm here joined with PJ Morris, and we're going to be talking about some NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking about first round results, what we've seen, and maybe some byproducts of the first round, potential trades we might see in the offseason. And then after that, we're probably going to make some second round predictions. We're here a little bit more than an hour before the second round starts. PJ, you getting hyped?
Yes, I'm very hyped. Lane Dubs. Good game to start off round two. Quick turnaround for the 76ers, which, I don't know, a little bit controversial maybe. They're the only team that has to play 2 days after. Well, I guess no, Detroit and Cleveland will both have to do that tomorrow, but at least that's even.
Yeah.
Because the Knicks, I don't even know when the last time the Knicks played was.
I want to take a look
Friday,
at that now
maybe?
that you said that. Are you looking that
Yep.
up?
Yeah. Let's see. They played on the 30th, which was Thursday. Yeah. Quite a difference, and they're playing at home, so
Yeah.
really don't expect probably a good performance out of the Sixers tonight,
I don't
especially
know.
from Joel. Can we just talk about? I'm stunned that he stayed in that game. I mean,
You
think
want to
about
start
how
off?
many times. Yeah, let's start with that game.
That's probably one of the crazier ones, but yeah, let's go ahead and start with that one.
Think about how many times in the second half of that game Joel went down, holding his knee, and then got up, hobbled, and not once did it look like he was going to come out of the game. He stayed in, played. Did he play that entire fourth quarter?
I mean, I think so. If not the entire fourth quarter, a majority of it.
And I mean, say what you will about Joel Embiid. I know Jaylen Brown had quite a bit to say about him last night on his Twitch stream. Call him a flop or whatever, but I think of all the guys who flop, quote unquote, in the NBA, his is the most. I hate to use this word because it's so overused in basketball discourse, but like his is the most ethical because he does it as a way to protect himself. Honestly, I mean, the guy doesn't have any cartilage in his left knee, and he has to do what he has to do to stay healthy. So, um,
Yeah. I mean, like you said, say what you will. Obviously, people like Jaylen Brown are entitled to their opinion, but JoJo coming back literally flipped this series for them. He came back that first game. He came back game three, right?
uh, did he come back game three? Yeah. He came back game three.
Okay.
So it
He
was
came.
1-1 when he came back.
Yeah, he came back game three, and they take the loss in his first game. And I remember hearing talks that, like, oh, maybe him coming back isn't the greatest thing for the team. It's switching up the dynamic, it's making them readjust to a piece that they were playing without for obviously a majority of the season. But then he completely turned it around. He was playing like prime Joel Embiid throughout that entire game or throughout that entire series that he was in there pretty much. And I mean, you could tell that he was definitely just a complete game changer for them. I mean, looking at this team coming into the playoffs, I didn't have very high hopes for them. And then now, where we're at currently, where Paul George has made a tremendous comeback, I mean, he deserves his flowers in his own right. And then Joel to come back from injury and look honestly as good as he's ever looked. It's honestly miraculous what the 76ers have been able to accomplish.
Yeah, because the whole talk. I mean, over the last 3 years, he's missed over 150 games. So he's only playing like 30 games a season since, what would that be, 2023?
I mean, the dude's
Um,
missed almost like half his career.
yeah, I don't know what the number is now, but I remember last year the stat was like 450 games played, 430 games missed.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like a new thing. I mean, the guy missed almost the first two full seasons of his career. Um, but yeah, that was like the talk at the beginning of the season was, are they going to slowly start to shift away from the Embiid process era and move into the Maxi Edgecombe era? And could those things work together? And with the start that VJ got off to this season, I think it became kind of apparent to a lot of people they were going to move away from that. Well, as time went on, VJ came, he was still a good rookie, but he came back down to earth. And Maxi's a great, probably top 20 guy. This playoffs, he's moving maybe a little bit closer to 10 than he is to 20.
Yeah.
But I think Embiid, when he's healthy, there's not many people that are better than him. I don't know
Yeah.
how many people I take over him when he's fully healthy. And that's the problem is you just never know when he's going to play. It's like a coin flip every single game over a full 82 game season. So I don't know what this means for his future, but I'm happy for him that the team, it seemed like, had been like the big monkey on his back throughout his career. He was able to at least get through them, going to Boston to do it in a game seven for the first game seven win of his career.
Yeah. And as good as this was of a win, like I don't think any of this should be taken away from Philly, but I was also just very confused at what Boston was doing because like going into the playoffs, I thought Boston had proven themselves as a deeper team than what we had originally thought. I mean, obviously everybody knows Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, but then guys like Shireman had stepped up, guys like Luca Garza, and then we get into the playoffs and like these dudes aren't seeing that much minutes. Like it's just pretty much. I mean, I know that they've got a madman coaching them, but for some reason Joe thought it would be a good idea to just give his starters the majority of the game and like barely play the bench, which I didn't understand. And obviously like Tatum coming off an injury, a really bad injury recently, a rush timeline to get back, and you're going to start playing this dude 40 minutes a game. Like I did not understand that at all. And that's probably what led to Tatum having to sit out game 7, which I mean, with the direction it was going, I don't know who I would have seen winning that. I would have probably given the edge to Boston just because it was at the Garden, but I I still just kind of feel bad for Brown that he lost Tatum. And did you see the clip where he says he found out like 45 minutes before the game?
I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, so that was probably a great surprise.
I Yeah, I think a lot of this, for as great as Missoula is as a coach, and for as big as he is on like, he's not full Tibbs about like playing these guys, the entire game. Tibbs
Yeah.
infamously, probably shortened Derrick Rose's career by like 5 years by what he did. Um, I mean the Tatum stuff. I know he's one of the 10 best players in the world, probably one of the 7 best players, but the guy was already coming back faster than we've ever seen anyone come back from an Achilles injury. And then, I don't know when the switch started. He came back, what, middle of March, early-ish March?
It was like, yeah, mid March.
So he had about a month to kind of ramp up for the postseason. And this was already a gap year anyways. I don't feel like they necessarily should have felt the pressure to go for it all this year. You had already way overachieved for what people expected without Tatum for, 80% of the season. But to bring him back and then play him this crazy of minutes when he's only been back for less than 2 months just seemed like, I don't know if malpractice is the right word, but that's what it kind of seemed like to me.
Yeah, honestly, like amidst like the JB talk of like whether he's going to be there next year or not, it kind of has just been symbolic of me of actually the New England season to compare those two teams. Two teams that probably shouldn't have been. I mean, obviously, New England made it a lot further than Boston did, but neither one of them probably should have been in that situation that they were in. Like, both of them were it, teams that you wouldn't, not very many people had like high hopes for going into the season. And so I think they work their way up to the playoffs. Tatum comes back. They look like a solid team. Something bad was bound to happen. So I don't know. I feel like maybe it was just a little too optimistic for the Celtics fans, but either way, yeah, like you said, it probably should have just been seen as a gap year.
Yeah, and I think if they had been kind of closer to where people expected them, if they had, been in Philadelphia's spot where they were like a play-in team, I wonder if he even comes back at all this year.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think they realized, like, hey, we play in the East, so it's already weaker competition. We're a 2 seed. If we get one, the 7th best player in the world back, why couldn't we win this whole thing? And so I think that the overachievement that they had kind of forced their hand in a way to bring him back early, but I feel like we're looking at this all completely differently if the season played out the way most people expected it. They'd been like a 45 win team. they had been in the play-in and then maybe, lost in the first round as a 7th seed. Then we're praising Jaylen Brown for how he helped this team, punch way over their weight, and we're excited for next season with a fully healthy Tatum, who could have had over a year to recover, and then, we're looking forward to 27 as their year. But now it almost feels like the sky is falling, and instead of this
Yeah.
being the gap year we all expected, maybe, next year's the gap year where they trade Brown and they kind of get a younger guy, and then they kind of hope to build chemistry with Tatum and some new pieces, or whether they're going to be aggressive in trying to get Giannis or something. So I don't know. It feels like they should have just stayed in their lane, and not tried to do too much this year.
Yeah. But that's all I've got for the Celtics. You want to move on to, let's just keep it in the East. You want to do Hawks, Knicks?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know about you, that series probably went about how I expected. I do think the Knicks are obviously the better team there. The Hawks, though, really are an all-star away from being like a real threat in the East. Which is funny because, obviously they had Trae Young and got rid of him. But Trae Young isn't... I think that says way more about Trae Young than it does about the supporting cast. Trae's not really like that transcendent talent. Trae's a great scorer. But when you have a guy that limited outside of scoring, a guy who's not going to give you anything defensively, doesn't really play off ball, high usage guy who can kind of hinder these other guys, I don't think he's the best fit. But yeah, I mean, this series just really told me, like, Atlanta next year, they're like a move away from moving into like a top 4 seed.
Yeah, they're soon to be serious contenders. And honestly, like you said, they played as good as I think they could have. I didn't even think they played awful. Their main issue is that when your number one player is CJ McCollum, like, I love CJ McCollum, but I mean, as we saw in that series, he can't consistently play how he played in game 1 and game 2. Like, that just has to run out at some point. And so then it's like, who's next up? Who's gonna take that leading role? And I don't know. They've got a lot of young talent on their team. Obviously, Walker just won Most Improved. Jalen Johnson seems to be extremely promising for them. So hopefully, like you said, they can just get one more piece in there and be probably pretty good contenders.
Yeah, I wonder, even I don't know, like, contract-wise or money-wise if this will work, but, like, I wonder if they could be like a Giannis team.
Yeah, I was thinking
a place
about
where he
too.
goes, and then Giannis isn't like a true ball handler, but he can definitely do that. We've seen that, whether it was in 19, 20, 18, 19, or even the year they won the title in 21. Like, he can definitely, in those late game situations, handle the ball, and he's still at worst like the 4th best player in the world.
Yeah.
So this series honestly didn't answer many questions I have about the Knicks. It really actually arguably brought more questions about where this team is headed, because outside of Brunson, you really just cannot count on any of their guys to show up consistently. Whether it's Cat and all of his, I don't want to call him soft or anything like a lot of people do, but, like, Cat can go through these stretches where he's just not super assertive offensively when they really could use that. Whether it's Mikal, who just continues to look like, I mean, in the moment, everybody knew they overpaid to get him. But as time goes on, I mean, that looks worse and worse. In that Hawks series, he averaged 7 points a game on like 27 minutes a game.
And they started cutting his minutes towards the end. But
yeah, it just kept going down every single game.
That Mikal trade is like the exact example of what the Hawks should not do, which I'm assuming that those trades are probably going out the window, seeing as, like, you had a similar thing with the Bane trade, and, like, in terms of the playoffs this year, he panned out a lot better than Mikal did, but still, like, not a worthwhile trade in the end. Like, both teams, I think, just thought they were like a piece away or a couple pieces away from making like a serious title run. And obviously with the Knicks, we could still see that. But yeah, going back to what you said previously, yeah, outside of Brunson on that team, like, you can't really trust anybody. OG honestly is probably the second most consistent dude on that team because
Honestly.
Cat can only truly be reliable if he is playing if the opposite team has a worse big man than him. If he's playing anybody that is similar level or better than him, he's pretty much a no-show in that game. Like I don't want to talk too much about it right now because obviously we'll get to round two matchups, but I imagine they're probably like praying on their hands and knees right now that Joel gets some sort of injury because imagining Cat on Joel like that's not gonna go well. That's not gonna go well for them at all. Basically like Cat versus Joel is not gonna be an ideal matchup for the Knicks.
No, not at all. I do think maybe the one thing playing to their hand, like we kind of just talked about, was, I mean, Joel, who had obviously hasn't played consistent stretches this year, who's only played 4 games in the playoffs, is coming off of, a game 7 2 days ago where he kind of put it all out there. I mean, the guy is hopping on one knee but diving for every loose ball. And
Yeah,
so, and now I think in the second round, unless it goes 7 games, they only have a day off between every game.
yeah,
And so I think as the series goes on, they're better positioned to kind of take it, because if you can neutralize Joel in like the later half of the series, I do think Cat will have fresher legs and can be able to win that matchup later in the series. But that means you have to get there. And the problem with the Knicks is they can get off to slow starts in these series, especially when it looks on paper like they have the better team. I mean, look at the Indiana series last year.
yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, there's a lot to be worried about right now if you're a Knicks fan. When you already have questions, not necessarily questions about the caliber of player that Brunson is, but like, when's the last time we saw a team with a guy this small be their number one on a championship team?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
Steph comes to mind, but Steph is the greatest shooter of all time, so he's an
Yeah,
anomaly.
yeah. I was about to say Steph's just also like one of the most unique players to ever play the game of basketball. Like there will never be another Steph Curry.
Yeah, I mean, outside of him, we're talking like Chauncey Billups in '04, but that's like one of the greatest defensive teams of all time, and that had such a good supporting cast. Or like, I mean, really, you got to go back to like Isaiah Thomas
Yeah.
in the '80s. Last time we've seen a guy this small be able to lead a team as a true number one. So
And even he was kind of the same thing. He had another Pistons team that was extremely defensive and had quite a few other good players. Like he had a pretty good cast of players around him.
right, and I don't feel like Brunson gets the support he
Yeah.
needs consistently from guys outside of really OG, to really have any belief in them yet. And this is the same story that's been going on for like 3 years at this point, 4 years.
Yeah. I
Whether
mean
it was
that's
23
kind of what
playoffs, 24 playoffs, or last year. I mean, this is the story.
and that's
It's
kind
been
of what
said.
happens when like I don't know. I'm not saying you should give up. Like obviously I don't think that the Celtics should steer away from Jalen Brown. I mean, they just kind of had a season from hell. But the Knicks, I feel like if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference this year, honestly, if they don't make it to the finals this year, they need to seriously look at the structure that they have and realize, okay, this is not working for us. Like we just made this win now trade with Bridges, and like this team is just not panning out to be what we expected it to be.
Yeah, you made a win now trade when you were probably more than that move away. Even if
Yeah,
Mikhail played as good as he did in Phoenix, I don't know if that would have elevated that team to a championship level. Now I know obviously they have the greatest advantage of any team outside of probably the Lakers, and that is you're a New York team. Like people are gonna want to come play for you. You're gonna have no problem attracting. They don't really have cap space to get free agents, but like you're gonna have no problem getting guys to come here in a trade. And
yeah,
so I know there's been people have speculated about a potential, Giannis trade, whether they'd move Cap for Giannis and some other stuff. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think if this kind of feels like a finals appearance or bust. I mean, nobody's expecting you to go beat San Antonio or Oklahoma City,
yeah,
but listen, on paper, you should win the East now. I mean, I don't trust Detroit.
Honestly,
The
yeah,
Detroit team that
no,
went down 3-1 to the
yeah.
worst offense in the
We can
league.
we can get to that in a second, but honestly, and maybe this is crazy to say this, but I think their only true contention for the East is with the team that they're going to be playing in this series. Like, I think that's the only team that has a chance of beating them from the East.
I think that's fair because I don't trust. I mean, we can talk about Cleveland's almost like their twin in a sense of
Yeah,
like a consistent roster year over year, but you just don't can't get it done in the playoffs, and so their big idea, not to you know take a dig at a guy I really love in James Harden, but like you're a playoff dropper as a team, and so you trade Garland for a guy that's 10 years older than him and a notorious playoff dropper,
yeah,
and that's your big move that's going to get you over the hump in the East. I don't really understand that.
yeah. Let's just go ahead and pan over to that game because that was the next one I wanted to talk about. An extremely hard. I'm not a Toronto fan by any means. I mean, I don't dislike them, but I would never consider myself a fan. Um, a heartbreaking loss for me. I was tuning into every single game when I realized that Toronto was just going to keep this series competitive, and it was one of the most enjoyable series to watch. And I really fell in love with that Toronto team a little bit. Like they had so much personality. Obviously, they've got Scotty or Barney, one of the most iconic NBA players ever. But I think they were a team I didn't watch a lot of in the regular season, and just looking at them, like they were one of the like least deep teams in the playoffs. So I honestly didn't think they had any chance even against Cleveland. But with that being said, their starters all played like phenomenal. Like Barrett looks so much better than he did in New York. And like I said, I just hadn't been seeing a lot of him recently. Scotty, obviously, I feel like just gets better every time I watch him. It was unfortunate that Ingram went out, but honestly,
Probably
I felt
helped
like
them.
I felt like they played just as well without him. I mean,
I think if that Ingram trade had worked out, if Ingram had been like he was in like 2024 in New Orleans there, I think they were probably a top three seed in the East. I just don't think Ingram, I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if he just doesn't care about basketball
yeah,
anymore. I don't know what it is, but
he's
like,
got that DeAndre Ayton aspect where he's like
yeah,
half-assing it the whole time.
if they like Scotty, Scotty just keeps getting better year after year. If they could find a way to move off of that Ingram contract and bring in either a couple like just really solid supporting pieces, or maybe try to go out and get like an all-star of some sort. Like that's another team like Atlanta that feels like they're kind of one move away from leveling up too.
Yeah, 100%. And like honestly, like I definitely don't think Ingram has like no value at all. Like he's definitely worth he'll definitely fetch you something decent. Like they could get a pretty solid 3 and D guy, I feel like, if they wanted to, because I don't feel like they have a lot of great shooting. I mean, Barrett was very streaky with his shooting. Scotty obviously isn't known for his three-point shot. He's more known for his
Right.
inside game. Like if they could just get a couple shooters, then I feel like they could be pretty solid. And then
Yeah,
obviously, unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to move off of that Jakob Pertl contract. Like that's nobody is picking that up. But if they could just get, like you said, just one or two more pieces that could be really helpful for them.
yeah. The only problem with the Ingram thing, like I don't think, like you said, Ingram on his own is just like a terrible player. I mean, let's see. This year he put up, 22, 6, and 4 on 48% shooting and then 38% from three. Like that's a solid player. When you have to pay him $40 million,
Yeah, I actually just looked
that's
that
where I
up.
feel
I
like
didn't
it could be a
realize how
problem with them
much
trying to move that contract.
that is actually
Yeah, I mean they
insane.
they traded for him and then immediately gave him like this giant extension.
I mean,
Like he had
I think
just gotten there.
he's a really solid player, but he just makes your offense so stagnant. I feel like you can't really do anything with him. Like I don't know. I feel like he thinks he's like Kevin Durant, but he's Brandon Ingram.
No, he does. And when your best player like that isn't like a great facilitator, but is going to have the ball in his hands a ton, that's going to limit your potential as an offense, which you could
Yeah.
argue is the biggest problem in Cleveland. You know, I love Donovan Mitchell, but some of these possessions in this series were just atrocious with the way he's holding the ball for 23 seconds. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you're going back and forth between him and Harden doing the same thing, just holding the ball the whole clock. They're going to dribble around, drive around. I mean, the two big guys, I don't know why they don't try to feed. I know Mobley isn't super aggressive inside consistently, and that can be frustrating, but like, I'd much rather see Mobley try to make something work down there than Mitchell just run around on
Dribble
the
it
perimeter
out.
dribbling. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that was like I think that on paper Cleveland should have like crushed this team, but then you watch the games and like Harden and Mitchell both like you said, Harden somewhat to be expected. You love Harden, but yeah, he's not known for great playoff performances. But Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, like this dude comes in averaging, was it the seventh? He has the seventh highest career point per game average in the playoffs.
Oh, does he really? That doesn't shock me. A
It
lot
it
of
was
that's
something
probably,
like that. I think he was
20,
like
was
right
it
behind
2020 when he
LeBron.
had
Oh
the
yeah,
crazy
the
bubble run?
yeah, but um, there were points in this series where he looked absolutely dog shit. Like he looked unusable. You couldn't believe that you were paying this guy that much money. Yeah, when Mobley is getting shut down, I don't know what his deal is because like 2 years ago, I would have told you in 5 years he was going to be like a top three, maybe not top three, but like a for sure top five center in the league. And
Mm-hmm.
now he just looks like just so average.
Yeah, it's very frustrating to watch. It has improved his off. I mean, his defense is still great. It's been great since day one.
Yeah, his defense is
But
very good.
the offense, it's like they need him to be a great offensive center. Um, well, the thing it gets tricky with Allen because he isn't a great offensive player, and when you have them next to each other, it creates a lot of problems. But I'm starting to wonder: do you think Mitchell? How many more years do you think he has in Cleveland? Because after this season, he still has 2 years left on his contract. He'll make 50 million next year, and then in 27, 28, he'll make 54 million. And he's made it pretty obvious since day one, like he's gonna go to the Knicks at some point.
Yeah.
So I feel like honestly, this trade should have been done last summer when his value was at its highest. But I wonder if they both lose in this round, or if the Knicks don't make the finals, if they lose next round, whatever, will both of them be desperate enough to make this move over the summer? Or is LeBron coming back? And does that influence how you build your roster long term for 1 year of LeBron? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if they would necessarily want LeBron just because I mean it depends on what they're trying to I guess it depends on what pieces they're trying to get rid of. But I'm just thinking like I know LeBron has, adapted to his smaller role he has in LA now. I mean, he's been turning it up in the playoffs, but with Luca and Reeves there a majority of the time, he understands that he's not the main point of this offense anymore. But if you have James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and LeBron James on one team, that just sounds like cancerous in my
I
eyes.
mean, yeah, that sounds like hell.
That does not sound like a
And
great
especially
fit.
for the money that LeBron is going to want, because he's not going to come to Cleveland for 15 million. He's going to
I mean,
come
yeah.
for he's going to want 50.
Yeah.
And Cleveland is probably going to be forced because of
Who he
the
is.
relationship.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to
I
feel
don't
like they have to do it.
I don't know though. I could see LeBron because at this point in LeBron's career, he knows he's retiring soon. He probably just wants to go. Like if he did go to Cleveland, it would be a move just to go home. We've seen LeBron take not drastically, but we've seen him take a pay cut for the Lakers before. I wouldn't be surprised. The dude's got all the money in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a decent sized cut, but only if he thought that they had like championship dreams, if he thought they could actually win there.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance he? Do you think he's staying with the Lakers?
I honestly,
I have no clue what he's gonna do. You could tell me he retires. You could tell me he stays with the Lakers. You could tell me he goes to Golden State.
I
I believe
definitely,
all of it.
I definitely don't think he will retire because I think that's out of the picture at least for one more year, just because he's always said he'll retire when he feels like he doesn't have anything left to give to the game, and that same dude is averaging 23 points per game in the playoffs right now. So he
Also,
like
knowing who LeBron is, he's gonna tell us he's retiring before the
yeah,
season. He's
that's
gonna want
another
the
thing.
Kobe farewell tour.
Yeah, but I heard, oh my God, I heard this the other day and I was like, there's no way this is true. LeBron allegedly doesn't want the farewell tour. Yes, he fucking does.
He's not gonna Tim Duncan it and just
No.
not tell us the whole season and then retire at the end.
You
He's gonna go full Kobe. Which I
yeah.
mean, who cares? You're LeBron. You can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like nobody can judge you.
I mean, everybody wants it. Nobody wants LeBron to just suddenly retire. Like
Yeah,
even
it's
even LeBron haters, like you gotta admit, you have to acknowledge, like once LeBron retires, that's truly like an end of an era. Like that's
yeah. That'll
Wimby is
hugely affect the NBA.
Wimby is like the new face of the league, but in a different way than Jordan and LeBron were. Like he is like easily the best player in the league, but I wouldn't say this is going to be the first time I in a long time I would say the best player and like the most electric player aren't the same person. Like Jordan and LeBron both had this aspect of like what it means to be like a superstar and all like people have defined Jordan as like a literal god, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Kendrick Perkins was shitting his pants and praying that LeBron got injured because he was so terrified of him. But with Wimpy, I just think of him as like a great player. I think of Ant as more of that like I don't even know how you explain it, but Ant has that like electrifying feeling. I feel like
I think
him
the
and
league's in a good spot in the
oh,
future.
for sure,
With
him and we have so many young stars. Like I was looking at a list the other day of players under 25, and I was just like I was amazed because sometimes you don't think about these dudes' ages, and I was like looking at it and I was like, holy shit, like Cade Cunningham isn't 25 yet. Like that's insane.
yeah, and talk about a guy who I mean, it's just I don't think Cade will ever be like the best player in the league, but like he's star, like a
I don't know.
true number one.
I could see the problem is like we're in this Shea era now. Not shitting on Shea. He's obviously gonna be a two-time MVP for a reason.
Best player in the world.
But I just I hope that some other guards get some acknowledgement because I don't just want Shea to be like the only guard that wins MVPs for like the next like 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I know Shea gets a lot of flack. We could debate whether it's deserved or not, but we do need to appreciate how rare. Maybe he only has this like crazy 4 year peak, going
Yeah.
from last year until 2 years from now. But like, this is pretty rare for a guard to be not only. We've seen great volume guards like Kobe, and then we've seen like incredibly efficient guards like, CP3 or whoever, but like to see them in one player, a guy who's going to shoot the ball a lot, but is going to put the ball in over 50, what is he shooting, like 55%?
I don't think it's
For a
quite that
mid-range
high.
shooter? Like
He
that's not normal.
SGA is, and I mean, he won this award for a reason. SGA is like the definition of
5.3% from the field.
that sounds impossible,
That's nuts.
but SGA is like the definition of clutch. Like he is
Yeah.
if you shots winding down 10 seconds on the shot clock, I can put the ball in any person's hands. It has to be Shea. There's nobody else you can give that shot to.
I'm not joking. I have not felt this
You
way
never think he's
watching a
gonna
guy.
miss. You
No,
never think he's gonna miss.
since Steph, maybe more than Steph. Like anytime he shoots the ball, I'm like, it's going in.
Yeah,
Like I don't
it's
feel like anytime I watch him, he misses.
it can be the wonkiest shot ever, and he's gonna hit it.
Yeah, and he can get to his spots so easily. Nobody can really stop him from getting to his spots. He's gonna get 25 every single game. I don't know. He really is the best player in the world. I know Jokic probably had that title up until this year. Even last year, it still felt like Jokic was the best player in the league. But I don't know. This year it just felt different because SGA's gone up a level from where he was last year.
Yeah, I wonder if
And
we're at the peak yet.
I know that's what I'm thinking because like guards, I don't feel like it's harder to keep up this level for as long. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But I mean, yeah, he takes 20 shots a game and shoots 55%.
Yep. But there's only one player, I mean, not as clutch as him, but the only player that I think of in that same like clutch category, just to bounce over to another series, is probably Cade. Because watching Cade in that Detroit Orlando series, he was the only player that I felt like was doing anything the entire game. And when it came down to it, once it got down to like that last like 5 minute stretch, I just like anytime he was on the floor, I texted you this and told you while I was watching game seven. I mean, game seven was a blowout, but like just in general, if it comes down to like a close, if it's a close game in the last 5 minutes and Cade is on the floor, like I just don't feel like they can lose. Like he
Yeah.
keeps them in all of these games by himself. He's the only reason that Orlando didn't end up beating them.
So you'd probably have him a step above Brunson.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like Cade a little bit more than I like Brunson.
Yeah. Where do you feel about him and Ant?
Dude, I would probably take Cade just slight. I'd
I
give
mean,
him that
I don't think
slight
you're like
edge.
wrong for thinking that. I probably prefer Ant a little bit
Yeah,
more. I feel like Ant has this. I think Cade's. Who's better defensively?
I'd
I feel
probably
like
say
that's pretty
Ant.
close.
I'd
Yeah,
probably
just
give
because
it to
Ant's a little
Ant.
bit longer,
Yeah,
he's probably more versatile. But Cade is, I mean, right there with him. Cade's a great
yeah,
defender.
yeah.
Ant just has this like I don't really know how to describe like the moment never feel. And you could say this about Cade too, but like Ant in these big moments, it just feel like he's made for them in a
Yeah,
way. And Cade is too, but like in a different way. Like I feel like Ant really takes stuff personal when he plays guys like SGA or Jokic or Luca. Like he thinks he is the best player in the world, and
yeah,
I think that's a huge part of being one of the best guys. You have to have the confidence to think you're one of the best guys.
yeah. That's fair. But yeah, focusing on the series a little bit, I was a little scared about Detroit, and honestly, like if they had lost in that first round, I wouldn't have found it very surprising. When I did my playoff predictions video, I had them losing. I had Detroit making it past Orlando. I think I had them beating them like 6-2, or sorry, 4-2. I had it going to six, but then I had them losing. I think 4-2 to the Cavs, who at this point I'm not too convinced on. Like we talked about, not too high on the Cavs, but yeah, all of my worst fears came true with the Pistons. During Cade's injury, they looked completely fine because they had Jenkins step up, and even Duran kicked it up a notch and was playing pretty solid offensively. And then we get to the playoffs, and Angel Reese is haunting him with all of these tweets about Wendell Carter Jr. And he was just shitting his pants the whole time and couldn't do anything offensively.
I know it was so weird. Duran got so much better this year offensively, and then as soon as the playoffs started, it's like
He was just
what was
tanking.
he averaging for the series? Like 11?
I was about to say it was probably not very much more than 10.
I saw this graphic like this Pistons fan account put up, and it was like Jalen Duran averages the first six or the first 5 games of the series. It was like 9.8, and then it was like game 6, he had 12 points, and I'm like, I don't know, for a guy that averaged almost 20 in the regular season, that we shouldn't feel too good about a 12-point
Yeah,
performance being his high of the series.
Jalen Duren was the third leading scorer, 10.6 points per game, obviously ahead of him. Cade, 32.4 points per game. And of course, the legend himself, Tobias Harris, who averaged 21 points per game this season. He was actually, that game seven, he fucking turned that up. That was
What's
actually
up with him
insane.
and PG? Like two guys we felt like had been washed for a couple years and just stepping up when their teams need them the most.
I mean, PG, that HGH really got to him and it got him feeling good. But yeah, and I mean, I don't know who. Actually, I'm not gonna say that. I was really disappointed in Duran. I was really disappointed in Duran, but also Jenkins, same thing. Like we see this dude kick it up a notch where he's looking like, oh, they've got this great backup guard off the bench that nobody really knew about. And then same thing, we get to the playoffs and he's just shitting all over the place.
But at least, I mean, he's a backup.
Yeah,
Like
there's less to be expected.
Duran was their second best player this year,
Yeah.
and for him to be as bad as he was in the playoffs says a lot about him.
I will say I tried to chalk it up to I think Duran just had a tougher time against Orlando because Orlando, not that they have one like great big man, they're just kind of big in general. Like they just are a larger size team, and I think
And they're
competing.
very good defensively.
Yeah, they are very good defensively. So I think having all of that size at once was maybe just a little overwhelming for him because yeah, I feel like he usually does fine against big men, but he was just not playing well at all this series. But I don't know. The sad thing too is I feel like offensively Orlando played not the best. I mean, Paolo's 45-point game was extremely impressive. And Paolo, flowers to him. He kicked it up a notch for this playoffs. We had been having some scary conversations about what his future was going to look like because he was shit in the bed, but he definitely turned it around and he upped his stock this postseason. We could say that.
I think that's how he's kind of been the first couple of years. Is like, I mean, Orlando, since they've built this like Paolo, Franz core, they're not great offensively, but they're really, really solid defensively. And then like Paolo in the playoffs, he keeps leveling up.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of a playoff riser, which is really weird for who he is in the regular season.
I just felt like usually when talking about the Magic, people like the serious conversation that would come up is, oh, who's better, him or Franz? And I would always pick Paolo 9 times out of 10. And then this season, I felt like the gap was a little bit more closed. I wasn't as impressed with Paolo this season.
I feel like most Magic fans, if you ask them, you're like, hey, which one is untouchable between the two of them? I feel like they say Franz more.
Yeah, which I don't understand because Boncaro is like, I feel like he's one of those like once in a generation guys. Like he's really good.
I think Paolo, if he could ever become a better shooter,
Yeah.
but I mean, we're only 4 years into his career, so it's not like he's, what is he, 23?
Well, and I mean, he has his moments. I mean, was it game 6? I don't think it was his 40. It might have been the 45-point game. But one of the games he shot like 7 of 10 from the 3-point line.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. His comparison was always like baby LeBron. And I mean, he has a lot of limitations. I think obviously LeBron was a way better passer. Like if you just look at LeBron's first stint in Cleveland and Paolo so far, they're pretty similar. LeBron's more explosive. I don't know, Paolo could be a better shooter. Early LeBron was not a very good shooter. LeBron kind of didn't learn how to shoot until like his first year in LA.
Yeah, he had to
When he started
adjust
hitting
to
the
it.
fuck you threes.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like that's kind of when he started to learn how to shoot.
He hit it once and he was like, wait, I kind of like this.
Yeah, and so I don't know. It is kind of crazy how we're trying to not write Paolo off, but like kind of assign him these labels for a guy who's in his 4th year in the league. I think in 24, people were like, or was it? Yeah, I think it was his 2nd year. People were like, "Oh, this guy, watch out! Like dark horse MVP, all this," and it's just like the guy's so young. He's 23.
The narrative
He's gonna
is
get
completely
better.
flipped.
And he wasn't as good this year as he was last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about him yet. I'm worried about his team, not him.
No, I wouldn't say I am either. Yeah, no, yeah. They either need to get him off that team or they need to do some major movement this season. But I think we can go ahead and flip to the West.
Yeah, where do you want to start? There's a lot. Let's start with OKC. Actually, let's not even talk about OKC.
Okay.
Here's all you need to know.
Yeah,
about them.
we can skip that one.
Best team in the league. We knew this. They haven't lost in the first round since 2020. Like, that's the last time they lost a game in the first round. They swept the Pelicans in 24, swept Memphis last year, swept Phoenix this year. Best team in the league, best player in the league, best roster for the future. All of that. Phoenix. I actually don't think Phoenix is a terrible team.
Yeah.
That's just how good OKC is.
I think they maybe get a game if Mark Williams isn't injured. Like they had like Oso starting as the center, and he did as best as he could. But Mark Williams is a major upgrade.
Yeah. Honestly, we could say the same thing about this San Antonio series. Like, if Wemby doesn't miss the game, they sweep Portland.
I agree.
I think OKC and San Antonio, which we knew this during the regular season, but they are clearly the two best teams in the league. They're the only two teams that either 1-5 or 1-4.
Yeah.
Everybody else went 6 or 7.
Yeah.
They're the two best teams, not just in the West, but in the league, obviously. The other two series, one's more interesting than the other. Let's start with the Houston one. Where do you go if you're Houston?
Like, what do you mean? Like, where do you start from here? Like, where do you?
What is your you?
This is the
really banked on a 2-year window with KD. Yeah. I mean, KD is one of the all-time greats. He's aging as good as LeBron is aging.
One of the all-time greats to one of the all-time worst teammates, I would say. He has beef everywhere he goes.
Yeah. I don't think he's a guy I would want on my team. You know, I've had him on my team before. But, you know, there's a couple ways of looking at the season for them. Do you say, hey, this clearly isn't going to work, KD's gone, or Şengün's gone, whatever, one of them has to go, and we go for one more year building this up? Or do you just go, hey, what was our biggest problem this year? We didn't have a point guard. What do we have on our roster that was hurt all year? Fred VanVleet. Let's just let Fred come back next year from his injury, and let's see what this looks like with a point guard.
I think if I personally am the GM or just the organization in general, the Houston Rockets, I have to say we have to get KD out of here, because as much as I know they're probably like dying to run it back, like they want it to work so badly. Clearly, it was such a win now move. You can't have him on that team after how this season went, after that burner shit went down. Like, it clearly was not clicking. It didn't go well. And like you said, having VanVleet back would solve the biggest problem, which is that they were trying to make KD or Amen play point guard all year, and that didn't work out. But he's the number one issue on that team. I don't think you can make a big enough move without getting rid of him or Şengün. And to me, as good as KD is at his age, I think giving up aging KD is honestly better for you than getting rid of future Alperen. So I would rather keep Şengün personally, and I just think KD's kind of the butt of the joke there. Like, he's all of their issues and solved into like one little problem.
Yeah, I actually don't hate either move for the Rockets. Like, you have a young core, and you do need a star around them. Like, that is the thing. But I don't think we have too much history with Kevin Durant now to be like, he's the guy. I mean, look, he was 3 games to 1 up against the greatest regular season team of all time, blew it, joined them. He had it made. I mean, he could have stayed in Golden State for the rest of his career and probably won 8 championships. But after 3 years, he wanted out. He goes to Brooklyn. The Brooklyn thing blew up because of another guy I don't know if you can really trust to bring into your franchise, Kyrie Irving. Kind of messed it all up. And then a third guy who you don't really think you can trust to bring into your organization, James Harden, got there, and that became a mess. And so he goes to Phoenix, and then I don't even know what happened there. the team was just kind of bad last year,
Dude.
which was like shocking. And then
I just
he says, "I'm out of here," and goes to
I just don't think it
Houston.
was a great fit. I mean, Booker plus KD doesn't sound exactly like a dream duo in my eyes, but and I mean obviously we saw it play out, but
Yeah,
um yeah, it is funny. I was thinking about it today. Like Brooklyn has really just become like a buy sell trade. It's like a garage sale of the NBA now. Like they acquire these pieces and then they're instantly gone. Like we were talking about McCall earlier. He was in Brooklyn for a very short time. Cam Johnson from the Suns was there for a very short time, which we can get to that in a minute because I have some opinions on that trade that I had when it first happened that in my eyes seem to be panning out a little bit. But I think the thing about Brooklyn too is not so much with KD because obviously he's just a great player. I think these dudes all just go to this dying team where you are the star no matter who goes there. Like you're probably going to be the star. If you average more than 10 points per game anywhere else, you're going to average 20 on the Brooklyn Nets because
right.
they're so buns. So
Yeah,
I think people see those guys as like a diamond in the rough when really it's the trash around them that's making them look so good. No offense to my legends Ochai Abaji and Jalen Wilson.
Brooklyn. I don't know. I feel like Brooklyn is on the cusp of turning it around though this year. I mean, they really need to bank on the lottery going their way. If you get, I mean, they're tied, with Washington and Indiana for the first overall pick in terms of odds.
Yeah.
I think if you land, you really want obviously one of those three guys, but even if you fell to like fifth, if you're getting
Yeah.
a top five pick, I feel like Brooklyn feels pretty good about their future. But yeah, Brooklyn is in kind of a weird spot where they just do all this and like, yeah, expiring contract in, expiring contract out. But as for the Rockets, it's just so hard to say because you don't know. Amin has so much potential, but is he ever gonna be a good enough shooter
Hey,
to
he
be
banged
the
a couple
centerpiece?
threes in that series. He banged probably more threes in that series than I've seen him hit all season long.
But is he ever going to be like a consistent? He doesn't even need to be a 40% 3-point shooter. He needs to be like 36. Could he get to 36
Yeah.
on like 5 attempts a night? I feel like they they're at a point where they probably need to go a different direction. Like we talked about, hey, this one year it didn't work out. If Van Vliet was healthy, the season definitely goes better than it did with another guy who's been an all-star, a true point guard on that team. But because of who KD is, he can't stay here. So could they be a Giannis team?
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier,
I've
but
seen them mocked in these weird, which I wouldn't do this if I was Denver, but I've seen this Jamal Murray for KD thing thrown out there. If I'm Denver, I'm not doing that.
I just at this point, like we were just talking about, I just feel like Katie's kind of a cancer wherever he goes. Like the organization goes downhill after that. Like I think you just step away from him.
You know what? He's gonna probably play on three more teams. I think he'll be on a different team next year, and then he'll be on a different team in 27, 28. And then I think Seattle comes back in 28, 29, and he can go to Seattle for his last year. He can bookend
Yeah.
it, and that'll be the perfect way for him to end his career. And he can go down as a Sonic,
Yeah,
because I don't know what else he goes down as at this point.
the only team that'll take him back.
He had it made at least two separate places and blew both of them up. But now I've seen it thrown out there, he might go back to Golden State. Or
Which
he
I
might go
just
back to Brooklyn. It's been thrown out for both
I,
those places.
I can't imagine that. But yeah, getting down to the actual series. So going into it, it was let known right before game one that KD wasn't going to be playing, which ended up turning into KD plays one game. I think he played game three. KD plays one game the entire series, so I don't know what was going on. That was just kind of more stuff where it was like they said he was injured, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, dude came back randomly game three, and then all of a sudden sits out the next four games. Like, what's up? Or next three games.
And he
What's
hadn't been hurt right up before. They said he got hurt in practice, diving for a loose ball,
Yeah.
and people were like, "I've never seen KD dive for a ball
I
in my
was just
entire
getting the
life."
vibe he didn't want to play. Like I was just getting the vibe he said, "I'm sitting this one out, guys," which I don't
I
really
mean,
understand.
yeah,
I don't understand if you're in the playoffs, but like we talked about earlier, that team definitely doesn't have great chemistry. But um, the Rockets were just honestly a little bit more shit than I already thought they were. Uh, I think they played down. Jabari had like one game where I felt like he played good, and outside of that, he was pretty bad. Tari Eason took a step down, which I mean, he hasn't been as good as he had been last year this year. Like, I feel like he hasn't been great at all this year. But yeah, overall, they were getting shut down by a pretty interesting Lakers defense.
yeah. I mean, this Lakers team, the Lakers lucked into the best first round matchup possible for
Yeah,
them. This was the only way. This,
that
I
they
mean, no
were winning
offense.
a series.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you had gotten Denver in the first round, you're probably losing in 5 games. You know, if you'd gotten Minnesota in the first round, you're probably losing in 5 games.
Yeah,
But, you know, they got the best matchup for them, a team that really has no offensive identity. The only team where it wasn't going to matter that your first and third best players or your first and second best players, however you look at them, I don't know how you look at them, weren't
uh,
playing.
I mean, Luca Breeze.
I'm saying, like, would you have both of them over LeBron?
Oh yeah,
Obviously, Luke. Okay. I mean, I would rather have Austin Reeves than LeBron at this point, but
yeah.
you know. But yeah, I think the Lakers are another team who just can't. They're in another weird spot too, where it's like, how is this team going to look in a year? Because this team isn't great right now. But because you're going to make the Final Four in the West, it's like, oh, you know, we're a little bit closer than we think, but it's like in 6 months, I don't think LeBron will be on the team anymore. And are they going to flip Reeves for something for Luca? Are they going to go get Giannis? That's, you know, been out there a lot.
That would be a crazy team.
What would that even look like? A Giannis Luca team? I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
I mean, the thing is, Luca's like such an incredible playmaker. Like he genuinely could just lob it to Giannis for the entire game, and that could be just how they score all their points.
I would much rather see a Reeves Giannis combo than a Luca
I mean,
Giannis combo. But obviously, Luca's not getting flipped for Giannis. They would want them to play together.
yeah. Um, I don't know. Even if he did get flipped for, I mean, they're not gonna. Nobody would ever trade Luca. But even if Giannis, like that was the
Well,
trade. Well, bro, once in a lifetime trade. Well, when the caliber of player you're getting traded for is Anthony Davis, who's
sure.
you're just worried about Luca's health, and Anthony Davis has only been injured for like half of his Lakers tenure.
Yeah. Dude, this is a huge Lakers offseason. Like, this will decide where
Yeah,
they're at in
this
5 years
is
because they
outside of
have to
the
get a Luca extension done.
yeah, outside of the Luca trade, this team has been literally like it's felt pretty much the same like the whole time LeBron and AD there were there. Like it was LeBron, AD, and all of the pieces they were cycling in and out were like pretty much no factors. Like really
Yeah.
didn't do a whole lot and were never like you look at like Westbrook. Westbrook wasn't there for like any time at all. Like he was there for like a year pretty much. Um
Yeah, it was the worst year of my life.
oh my god.
I wish I could erase that 18 months from my memory.
Hey, at least he is not still with the Nuggets because if he was getting coached by David Adelman, that his career would be over.
Well, if he was with the Nuggets, they probably beat Minnesota, you know, but they wanted Bruce Brown to give them 3.5 points a game.
I
And
mean, we
so
could,
that's what David Edelman gets.
yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and hop into that one because I've got a lot to say about that. First of all, we were just talking about the easy. This is like this blew my mind and I didn't understand this at all. They would be playing in the second round right now if they had intentionally lost one game and then they would have been playing the Rockets first. But
They wanted to win that last game because they weren't
yeah,
afraid of Minnesota.
yeah. So they could have had the
I don't understand
easiest.
that.
They could have had the easiest first round ever, and instead they decide we want to play the Timberwolves first round, and they got shit on for it.
Everybody should have been wanting to play the Rockets.
Yeah,
If you had the chance to play them in the first round, you should have been trying to get them. But Minnesota just like, I mean, this has become like a mini rivalry over like the last 3 years. And I know the numbers are like Minnesota, I think, has beaten them 21. It's like 21-19 or something like that. Like, why would you want to play Minnesota?
yeah.
I know they've done this the last couple of years where they're going to start slow, but then they're going to get it together. And I mean, they've made the conference finals the last 2 years, and I think they're going to make it for a third straight time this year.
Yeah, they probably will. Really?
I don't know. I'm
Never
starting
mind.
to kind of talk myself into this,
Never mind.
into
Never
them
mind, never
beating
mind.
San Antonio.
No, 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 no. I don't know what I was thinking. I completely like blacked out San Antonio for a minute, and then I was like, wait a minute. They're
This
literally
could be
playing.
24. Think about that. This could just be like 24 OKC. 24 OKC, best team in the league. They lose in the second round to a team everybody picked them to beat in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then the next year they win the title.
I think it's just a little different. I mean, Minnesota's dealing with a lot of injuries right now. I know Ant's coming back, but that dude hasn't looked 100% in a good minute. And I think coming off another injury doesn't help. I don't know
I think the
what
Dante one really hurts.
the Dante one hurts. I don't know. Io went out last game.
Yeah.
I don't even know what injury he had.
After having like the best 3 game stretch of his life. But then look, he's out, and then Terrence Shannon
Yeah.
steps into his shoes.
They are having kind of like an OKC moment right now where like one guy goes down and then all of a sudden they've got a new star on their team.
And I don't feel like Nas has been
Oh no.
great
He's been
so far.
Which I mean, he's been allegedly injured the whole time too. Like he's been playing like dog shit. They've been relying on Rudy Gobert, and that's like a sad, sad day when it comes
But
to.
Rudy's
relying
been
on Rudy.
delivering.
I mean, he really has been. I mean, obviously, we've always known him as a great defensive player, but on the other side of the court, he's not known for doing what he has been doing.
You know what? I have a bold prediction. Rudy Gobert is hitting his first career 3 in this series.
Ooh.
I think we're gonna see it. I don't know why. I felt like we were getting close in the Minnesota series. I think we get it in the series.
What? He shot. I remember like watching him shoot a three, and I was like, "There's no way. Like, why are we trying this,
I think he's like 0 of 21 in his career.
dude?" He's
I
got.
think he's literally the worst 3-point shooter of all time.
He's got to make one eventually. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Even Shaq put in like 3.
I was about to say, he's got to make
Freaks,
one.
did he?
But yeah, I thought he only had one.
Shaq?
Yeah.
I swear he had like 3. Maybe you're right. Let's see. Oh, you are right. He had 1. He was 1 for 22. So I think if
wait,
Gobert hits 1 in like his next 2 attempts, Shaq will become the worst 3-point shooter of all time.
wait.
So this is big.
Rudy Gobert needs to tie the record.
Rudy honestly will probably get to like 50. Like, I would love to see Shaq, because he hates Rudy for some reason. I would love to see Rudy make it before his 22nd attempt. Just so
That would
Shaq.
be iconic. But okay, just to dive into this game a little bit, because there's a little bit of talking to do about narratives around the league involving this. Jokic, not great. I mean, he didn't play awful. I'm not gonna act like he played like shit. But the average Jokic game is better than most of the league's best game. But it not a great showing from Jokic in terms of efficiency. And on top of that, like uh Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray shit the bed in that game 6. Like shit the bed.
So Mr. Jokic. And I'm not accusing him of this, but I think the last season, really this year specifically, he's become a little bit more stat patty than he's been in years past.
I forget what game it was, but this dude had a wide open 5-foot floater in the paint. But because he was at 9 assists, he forces this pass to the corner in a game where they're down 1. And I'm like, I'm not accusing you of this, but like it's just, I don't know, I'm noticing a couple things.
It could also just be that he was genuinely terrified of Rudy Gobert because Rudy was kind of like
I don't even think Rudy was in the paint.
Oh, okay. Point. I was about to say Rudy was kind of putting the belt on him for a little bit.
Yeah, and so Jokic, he's still a top 2 player in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
I do think this season, not just these I wouldn't base this off of just one series, but like this whole season, I do think has shifted him from 1 to 2. I think SGA's passed him. And it's not really a dig on Jokic. I don't think he's like dropped. I just think SGA's been so good that he has to become that number 1 guy. But, SGA is in the better position as far as like roster around him.
I don't know. It's hard for me to talk about it because I feel like Jokic obviously brings more to the table, at least offensively for sure. He brings more to the table than SGA is because SGA is like mostly a scorer. He's a scoring guard. He's like, he's like an efficient version of Kobe.
But that's literally what he is.
Yeah. Whereas Jokic, I mean, he's pretty much like Westbrook as a center. Like no athleticism on that part, but like he puts up a triple double. Like it's it's just a walk in the park.
Flow through him.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Every possession is going to touch his hands multiple times, and he's going to be the deciding factor of whether he shoots the ball or whether you shoot the ball. Like, he's going to decide that.
100%. And I do just think, I don't know, I think recently we think about the MVP, the way we think about it, it's kind of like a team award almost. It's like, it's most likely going to go to the guy with the most team success. And I'm not saying SGA didn't deserve it, but I am just saying, if we're going strictly off individual performance, I would say what Jokic is able to do impresses me more than what Shea is able to do.
I see how you could say that because, yes, Shea does have one of the best rosters of the 21st century. But, for all the obviously Jokic puts up incredible offensive numbers. But you know what? If you're the number 1 guy in the world, I need to see a little bit more defensively. Yeah. I need to see you least challenge some shots at the rim because Joel Embiid on one good knee is out here being a rim protector in a game set. Like he feels the moment. He feels his team's back against the wall and he is protecting the rim for 48 minutes. Jokic could never... I don't understand. Have you ever seen Jokic block a shot? Like, I'm thinking in my brain, have I ever seen Nikola Jokic step outside?
All 7 feet of him.
Yeah, put one hand up at somebody coming into the paint. Because he doesn't do it. He doesn't feel the need to step up and play defense in these moments. And you know what? It's like, it's great. You put up 29, 10, and 11. Like, that's awesome. That is truly awesome. But if you could give up maybe a little bit of effort on the offensive end, if you could put up 27, 8, and 10, but also give me 1 block a game, if you could also affect the guards coming into the paint every game, if you could make them feel just a little bit uncomfortable, you don't have to be Wemby, but if you could be, I don't even know, if you could be like 75% of Anthony Davis right now, if these guys coming into the paint are going to have to think twice about putting up a shot against you, I think your team wins like 3 more games a year.
Yep. You did just make the argument. You convinced me. Wemby is our MVP. We'll go with that. We'll meet in the middle.
Wemby, I wouldn't have a problem with him winning MVP if I think he just missed a few too many games and his team was a little too good.
Yeah.
And the time he missed. He doesn't have as good of a roster as SGA, but it's like the second or third best roster.
Because that is also something I think about SGA. Once again, not trying to DM, like if he wins MVP, he deserves it. But I feel like he doesn't get the focus on him like these other guys do because like you can't leave anybody from OKC open. You can't, like you just can't afford to do that.
I mean, and they multiply them. I don't know if Sam Presti has like a garden in his backyard where he just grows these, defensive guys who can hit shots or what's happening down there, but They're in
Scams
such a good
people on
position.
trades. Jared McCain
I mean,
for 4 second-round picks.
yeah, but I don't know. Jared McCain's okay.
I mean,
I don't think he's going to be on that team next year. He's going to scam somebody else. He's going to flip him for probably 3 more first-round picks.
yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. Sam Presti's the MVP.
He really is. He's
He's the most valuable person in the NBA. And
He really is.
He's been doing this for years. He's been the Thunder GM since they came to Oklahoma City. They were obviously weren't an expansion team, but they were a team who picked in 2007 they picked second, 2008 they picked fourth, 2009 they picked third. Since they drafted Harden in 2009, this team has consistently been a threat since then. Obviously, you take out 21, 22, 23 when he said, okay, we're going to fully go into the rebuild because they overachieved after trading Westbrook. They thought they were going to take like a full gap year, start the rebuild then. Well, they were better than expected. He realized Chris Paul was too good to do a full rebuild with. He got rid of him, went into full rebuild mode. So from 2009 to 2026, for 17 years, you take out those 3 seasons, for 14 years, he has put a contender out with so many different pieces. And has he really ever lost a deal? Except for arguably the Harden trade, but it's like, how long was that going to work with those 3 guys, with 3 MVP caliber players? Can you really put 3 of those guys on one team?
Yeah, I mean, and he really doesn't even have to be winning trades at this point. He, all of his recent success, a lot of it can just be contributed to one trade, the Paul George trade, which has fed OKC forever.
The greatest trade probably in NBA history.
Greatest scam.
It built a dynasty.
It really did. I think it's funny too that not saying PG had an awful tenure with the Clippers, but it obviously didn't end well. And we obviously got the iconic playoff P performances where he was not doing too good. But then he goes to Philadelphia and he's kind of, like we've said, revived his career in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And as non-OKC fans, everyone should be thankful that the Clippers have been still, a good team with OKC owning their picks.
Yeah.
Now this year, because the Clippers didn't make the playoffs, it could get a little bit dangerous. It would take a lot for the Clippers to jump up into the top 4 or 5 from where they're at. I think they have the 11th best odds right now, but it's not. I mean, look at the last few years in the lottery. I mean, Dallas was I think 9th in odds, and they jump up to 1. So,
what are we gonna
do if this pick jumps up to to 2?
Yeah, and if Commissioner Silver decides he wants to implement his new draft rules, then that's not an insane probability.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Clippers
then
probably.
They'd be tied in I don't remember a massive long tie for the best odds in the league.
Yeah, which that's a whole other mess, which is just gonna essentially kill small market teams forever.
Yeah.
Let me get this right.
It's the 4 through the 12 have 8%.
I think it's 4 through 13, and then 1, 2, 3, and 14, 15, 16 all are at what, 5?
5. Yeah. That sounds right.
Let's see. OKC owns. Looks like the Clippers are done owing them picks after next year. And next year's pick is unprotected. So, say the Clippers kind of bottom out. Say they trade Kawhi, which they're really not in a position to do because of this, because it's not like you can tank, but say they trade Kawhi and they're not very good, OKC could get a top 3 pick from them next year.
Awesome job.
And then
by
the Clippers don't own. I don't think the Clippers own their own first round pick till 2031, because then Philadelphia owns their picks after that. Just sad times.
Sad times to be a Clipper fan. When is it not a sad time to be a Clipper fan?
Genuinely. I mean, they're always good, but then something goes wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like the Jets in the NFL where it's just there's no hope ever. It's no, there's hope. and then it falls apart.
Yeah, they just don't like having hope.
And that's the problem with the NBA lottery is like the NFL. I was thinking about this the other day. Teams in the NFL do not stay bad forever.
No.
You are not going to stay bad forever in the NFL unless you're the Jets, who just nothing goes right for them. Like they're an anomaly, but like outside of them, every team over the last 10 years has had a moment where they felt good about the direction of their franchise. They had a good season. Every team could say that. The NFL or the NBA, when of the Brooklyn Nets, I guess they had, 21.
I think a good example would probably be the Wizards. The Wizards, I mean,
when of the Wizards felt, I mean, the Westbrook year for half a second when they made the playoffs.
I was about to say, but that in itself is like, you have to say the Westbrook year as their like good moment when like Westbrook was having the time of his life there, but like he was about the only good thing on that team. Like he had to pretty much drag them to the playoffs.
That team to the playoffs against, I think did they get the 7 or the 8? Because they played Philly in the first round in Philly. I think they got one game in that series, and like that
getting one game with that team is impressive.
I mean, yeah, that team was god awful, and that was such a fun Westbrook year. But like, yeah, the Wizards. When have they had fun in the last 10 years?
Yeah, Wizard fans have to be excited that at least they have something now. I mean, they have injury.
Charlotte had fun this year, but look, they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. Which I mean, granted, they were in the play-in. The play-in obviously comes down to one game. I mean, look, it's crazy to think about that. The Magic just took the Pistons to a game 7, and all it took was one game to decide maybe the Magic aren't even in.
Right.
But
which I do like the play-in being added.
Yeah. No, I
know like originally it was the NBA put it together during the bubble, kind of secretly, so that Zion could make the playoffs as a rookie, and that didn't work out, and they accidentally let John Morant into the playoffs. But I do think overall it's been a good addition. And now with the new lottery odds, though, it kind of doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I definitely
because you could get into the play-in, but not make the playoffs, and you could still end up with the number 1 overall pick. Like, it's kind of insane.
Very true. Well, we're about to game time. Do you want to cover Spurs versus Blazers? I mean, we could briefly talk about it, but it's kind of
I think we kind of covered it at the start. We said like it's just like the OKC series. Like, we're just the better team. Portland has a good future though. They're another team that keeps getting brought up in this Giannis trade thing, and Dame will be back next year, and so I don't know what year is this? This will be year 15 Lillard. I don't know what you can get out of year 15 Lillard, but
I'm not expecting much. I'll say that much. I mean, we've got a lot of great older stars in the league that have retained a lot of skill through their age, but
honestly, yeah,
Lillard coming straight off that injury,
smaller guy like him,
and coming
off that super injury. Athletic,
yeah, like not a lot to look forward to, I don't think.
Yeah, but we can kind of we'll just go through these 4 series real quick and kind of pick before this New York game starts.
Sounds good.
I guess we'll start off with 2 games tonight. I'm really torn because the only team in the East that I feel good about after round 1 is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But the Knicks, obviously I'm a lot higher on them than you are. I think because the Sixers, to get over the hump, are going to have to rely a lot on Joel, and Joel is going to be really, really taxed.
Yeah.
And this series is going to go 6 or 7 no matter what.
Maybe the most injury-prone player in the NBA outside of Anthony Davis.
Yes. And the fact that he's going to have to play every other day, that I'm going to lean Knicks in 6.
That's fair.
I think it'll be a 2-2 series, and the Knicks take the last 2.
I'm gonna go with a little controversial take. I'm gonna go Philly in 5, and I'm gonna say in 5. I'm gonna say Philly in 5 because of pretty much what you just said. I think Philadelphia has a serious chance to win this series, but I think if they want to win the series, they have to acknowledge that they just have to put everything they can into winning as quickly as possible, because the longer you let this series go on, the more chance there is that Joel gets injured, the more tax you are putting on him. I think the only way they end up winning this series is if it's in like 5 games. I think even getting it to 6 is like, okay, you're stretching it out too long.
They have to win tonight then if they're gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure.
That
For
seems,
sure.
which I feel like they're the momentum team right now, so there's really no reason they couldn't win.
Yeah, 100%. Um, all right, San Antonio, Minnesota. Honestly, I couldn't tell you one way or another how this is going to go. I believe in the Spurs. I think the Spurs will win. I'm going to say Spurs in 6 just because I don't like all the injuries going on with Minnesota. For one, their like lineups, uh what's the word I'm looking for? Their their system is going to be a little messed up because you've had
Yeah,
guys in and out of rotation. You're missing Dante currently for an entire year.
right.
You just haven't looked great. I mean, their whole team is coming back from the dead right now. So I'm gonna say Spurs in 6 on that one.
I I'll go Spurs in 7. Spurs in 6 if Ant looks bad tonight, but I'll go Spurs in 7. I think they're gonna have home court advantage. They're healthier. They have the best player in the series, and I really do feel like them and OKC are kind of on a crash course to me.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, here's another series. I don't know where it's going. Detroit and Cleveland.
yeah. I'm gonna say Detroit in 7. I'm gonna say Detroit in 7 because I feel like this is the battle of like shit versus poop, and
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know who will truly prevail, but I have a little bit more faith in Detroit. Like I said, they've shown glimpses of what they can do. I think we could see the same issues with Duran because, like I said, the size definitely bothers him. So I think when you've got Allen and you've got Mobley both down there, that's not going to be a good mix for him. But with how the guards have been lining up, I have no faith whatsoever in Mitchell or Harden. So I'm gonna go Pistons in 7.
I'll go Pistons in 6. I think Cade is the best player in the series. I think he's definitely playing way better than Mitchell is right now. And, these series, especially these later rounds, it comes down to the stars who can step up in the big moments. And I think Cade's been able to consistently do that in the playoffs and throughout the regular season, whereas Mitchell has kind of fell short on doing that. So I don't feel good about either of these teams, but Detroit, I feel a little bit better about.
Yeah. All right.
Um, so this is the easiest series to pick.
Lakers in 5.
I genuinely don't think the Lakers keep a game under 10 points. I think it's OKC in a pretty dominant sweep.
I'm gonna be generous to my Lakers. I'm gonna give them one game. I'm gonna say we take it to 5. I'm gonna say Luka comes back game 4. We get game 4 and then we lose game 5.
I could see that. But hey, Denver last year was a lot better, I think, than the Lakers this year. But Denver, nobody really gave them a chance to beat OKC, and they could have won game. Were they down 3 games to 2 or up 3 games to 2? I think they were down.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think they won game 1, won game 3. They were up 1-0 and up 2-1.
Like you said though, that's just so drastically different. Like the thing is, I like as a Lakers fan, I have no faith in the Lakers to like getting a game feels extremely generous. I also just I didn't think even with KD being out, I didn't think we were going to beat the Rockets. I know the Rockets are bad, but no Luka and no Reeves. Are you kidding me? Like I didn't think LeBron could carry that team. I mean, I definitely don't think he can against OKC, but yeah,
Let's see.
anything's possible.
Yeah, I think if Luka were healthy like right now, maybe it's a little bit of a different story. But then you think back, these teams played when Luka was healthy just over a month ago.
Yeah.
And
See, okay.
OKC won by 40 points.
Okay. I don't count that game, and here's why. The game starts, and automatically Reeves is like holding his side like the entire game. Like he from
Is
the
this
very
a game where he got hurt?
Yes, this is the game where him and Luka both got hurt. Reeves is holding his side like the entire, like it didn't start when they were losing or anything like that. And same thing with Luka. I mean, they did get off to an awful start, but Luka, I honestly thought like Luka was just throwing like a baby fit at first, and like he wanted to seem injured. And then the game ends, and we find out. I don't even remember what his injury is now. I know, was it a hamstring injury?
Yes.
Because I knew Reeves was his left oblique, because that's what Sam
Yeah.
Darnold allegedly injured.
Boy.
Yeah, two legends,
Darny
but
boy.
two runners in the race for White Boy of the Year. But
Darnold's winning that.
oh Samuel, but yeah, just I don't know. It was hard for me to count that one. I mean, like I said, I think even if Luka's back, we get max 2 like if Luka came back game 1 perfectly healthy, no issues, no strings attached, I think Lakers get 2 games at best.
I think that's fair. I see it being a pretty dominant sweep.
Yeah, dominating.
Yeah, he'll need to have a big series.
I can't wait to watch 4 games of him versus Chet Holmgren.
Chet's just killing him the whole time.
Maybe they'll just sit Chet the entire series and let Isaiah and dominate and duke it out.
That would be more fun to watch.
That honestly
I
would
actually
be.
support that just
Comedy
so
purposes.
the viewing experience isn't as bad for this series.
For entertainment.
So game picks tonight. You're going
I'm going
Knicks,
I'm going
or you're going Philly.
Philly, and I'm going Spurs.
I'll go Knicks and Spurs.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, Dobbs.
Well, I brought us in, you got to sign us out.
I gotta sign this out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching or listening. However you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you next time.